welcome back. The number to reach us on is 0808-054-2233. That's 0808-054-2233. And also, you can reach us on Twitter. It will be written on your screen. Lekon has already reached us on Twitter. He said, could fibroids be hereditary? You've already answered that yes, it does run in families. Now, let's talk about these unorthodox methods.
Thank you.
What are they? Are they trying to remove the fibroid non-invasively? So I guess that's what's attracting the women to these people. Yeah. Do we have a lot of that happening in this country?
Yes, surprisingly and unfortunately, that seems to be the case. And I think the underlying problem is fear. There is general aversion for surgery in this country.
Women are scared.
Yes,
when they
people
hear
are scared about having surgery at all, and especially maybe if they have heard about somebody they knew who had surgery and probably had complications, and therefore most people don't want surgery. But when they then resort to unorthodox methods to avoid surgery, then sometimes they create additional problems that may even be bigger than the fibroids. Some people use agbo. There's no evidence that agbo works. That's oral concussion.
But it's like there are different types of this concussion.
That's right.
So what's in the one they use for fibroids? Do people even know what they mix?
Most of them don't know, and well, certainly I don't know what they mix, but there's no evidence that those things work. But the more dangerous thing, which I would want to bring to the fore, is the fact that some women insert certain things, herbs mixed with caustic materials, into their vagina, having been promised that will melt the fibroids. Usually when they do these insertions, the insertions are done by some old women, and when they do these insertions, after a few days, they start having bloody discharge from the vagina, and they're told that that's the fibroid that is melting.
That is coming out.
Yes, that is coming out.
Let's quickly take this call from Joy. Joy is calling from Kogi State. Hello, Joy. Hello, Joy. Are you there? Could you speak up?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Joy. What's your question?
Hello.
Hello. Go on with your question, Joy.
Hello. Good afternoon.
We can hear you. Go on with your question.
Okay, my question is for submucous fibroid.
What about them?
Fibroid. What can one do about it? And in a stage whereby it's having bleeding in between periods.
Okay.
Could that
Well, I think we've got part of the question.
Yeah, she was asking about submucous fibroids. Now, you can characterize fibroids by their location. The ones that cause more problem with fertility and also with bleeding are those that lie very closely to the lining of the womb, or they're actually projecting into the lining of the womb. And she's asking what can be done about it. This should be removed. Again, it can be removed.
Without question.
Yes, they need to be removed because they are causing problems. Now, they can be removed using open mammectomy, but also depending on the type of submucous fibroid, which means how much projection there is into the cavity. They can be removed using a hysteroscopic approach, which is, the minimally invasive surgery I talked about before. That is, you have an equipment that can help you to look directly into the inside of the uterus, and then using the same equipment, you can introduce certain equipment that you can use to resect or to cut out the fibroid.
Is this becoming more and more common?
It is becoming more and more
So
common.
women should be more and more assured
yes,
that the operation is safer than it used to be, right?
That's correct. Provided it is done in the right place.
Provided it is done in the right place.
Yes.
Speaking of which, when fibroids are removed or they try to remove fibroids in the unorthodox way. Are they really removed? Because what you said is that they tell them whatever is coming out is actually the fibroid being melted.
Yes.
Is that true?
That's not true. What is melting, in fact, is the wall of their vagina. And then what normally then happens after that is that healing will start occurring. And when healing occurs, it's like if you have seen somebody who has had acid poured on him or in his face, then you have adherence together of the vagina surfaces, so that the resulting scenario is that the vagina is closed up.
Which means no baby can...
Which means that the woman then may not be able to have intercourse again, and the menstruation may cease altogether. And we've seen quite a number of women, some of them
coming in with
very
this problem,
educated, who are coming in with this sort of problem.
We'll come back to that. Let's take Miriam. Hello, Miriam. Are you there? Please speak up, Miriam. We can hear you. Okay, I guess Miriam. Hello, Miriam. Well, let's continue now. So this woman won't be able to have children again, or will be stopped from having children because of this procedure. But let me ask, can she eventually be helped?
She can be helped. However,
can that womb still hold a baby?
It is possible that the womb can still hold a baby, but it becomes more complicated, much more complicated than they had started with, because they will still need surgery to remove the fibroids, which they ran away from in the first instance, and then they need even more complicated surgery to, recreate the vagina. And, we've seen quite a number of women like this. Unfortunately, victims hardly come out to tell others about, this sort of experiences, because it's somehow something that's shameful.
But there is patient-doctor privacy.
Yes.
The privileges of that. So people with this problem can actually come to the hospital and be assured that whatever it is will not be blown out.
Yes.
Except for statistics.
That's right. But more importantly, I would want to emphasize to our audience that they should not become victims. Because, to be aware. And like I said, even very educated people, have become victims. The attractiveness is the fact that somebody is telling you that you don't need surgery.
Okay.
And therefore, that all you need is just to put something into the vagina.
So they are afraid of the surgery.
They are afraid of the surgery,
and
they become
also of the cost.
Well, cost can also be an issue, but I also find out that some of these things are not necessarily cheap. It may be cheaper than going to hospital and all that, but these women that perpetrate this sort of evil, they actually charge them considerable amount of money, promising them that they don't need surgery. So prevention is better than cure, and that's my message, to our audience. Don't, because you are afraid of surgery, go and be a victim, and then create a new problem that may even leave you in a worse state than you started.
Okay, one last question. You spoke about the reconstruction of the vaginal area,
yes.
But what about the wall of the womb?
Well, normally the caustic material they've inserted is usually into the vagina. Now the womb is further up, so it may not necessarily affect the wall of the womb.
Oh, so these people are just messing around, and it didn't even get to the place?
No, it didn't. It wouldn't get to the womb. So the fibroids are still there, untouched, but the vagina is destroyed.
Dr. Olamijulo, thank you so much for coming and shedding light on this very, very sensitive area that people have a lot of myths, believe a lot of myths about. You're welcome.
Thank you
so much. Thank you for being with us, and thanks for your questions, even the ones that didn't quite come through. But thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. I am Mary Alala Yusuf.